previously on the last Pokemon Crystal SuperMON run. I do like it hard from time to time, so if you do want to give me a hard one, please do let me know. And coming up, she will return to the gym having pocketed that secret potion as opposed to giving it to Amphi. Welcome back to SuperMON. This is the series where we grab a Pokemon, we give it 4 moves and 1 life, and we see just how far through Pokemon Crystal we can make it. Sometimes we make it to the very end and we are classed as a SuperMON, and other times we fail en route. And today we are going to be running FERALIGATR. This is one of the first Pokemon we tried actually in SuperMON, and it didn't go well, honestly. We lost at Whitney. But that was when the rules still had a timer, it was all very complex. So hopefully this time, without the pressure of the timer and with our rules kind of set in stone now, we'll have a much better time. Now before we get into this run, I just want to say apologies for the lack of streams over the last few weeks. I've been a bit ill again. It's actually quite a long gap between the Tyranitar video that you've hopefully just seen, if I've been able to edit that correctly, and this one. It's been about 4 weeks since recording a SuperMON challenge, so I really hope that I'm not going to be too rusty. I will, of course, try my absolute best throughout the course of this challenge, and if you are having fun watching these, please do make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That does tell YouTube that this video is worth watching, and it might be a bit big-headed of me to say so, but I think this video is worth watching. But now let's get into the live run, and we'll have a look at what we're doing for the moves. Now, I've got to be honest with this one, I'm not too sure what moves I want for FERALIGATR. There's quite a lot of choice, as we can see. I think there are a couple of moves that are going to be locked in. Surf, even though we don't have fantastic special attacks, 79 is still fairly serviceable, so I think Surf's going to be on the learn set. I reckon Ice Beam as well, just for Lance. It's quad super effective against his Dragonite, hopefully it'll be enough to knock those out. Earthquake's a good idea, and then something else. And that something else is what is stumping me at the moment. So we will get our 3 moves that we know we want onto the learn set, and then we'll see what happens for our 4th move. So we'll put Surf in top spot. We'll probably go for Earthquake in number 2, because I think Earthquake's probably going to be a fairly handy move. Number 3 we'll leave blank at the moment, and then number 4... we will go for Ice Beam. I don't know how useful Ice Beam's going to be outside of Lance, but I think it could be the key to victory at Lance. I don't think there's any other easy way of getting through, at least in one attempt. Now I'm going to have a little bit of a think about our 4th move, and I'll get back to you. Now this 4th move that I've thought of might be a little bit controversial, and it might not even get used, but I'm thinking Double Team. We went down to Whitney before, so if we can increase our evasion for the Miltank, that gives us a much better chance of getting through that battle. So I do think Double Team could be the play there. I'm not 100% sold on it, as I'm sure you can tell by the tone of my voice, but I think we'll give it a go. The worst that happens is we take a reset and we go all the way back to the beginning and get a different move. Hopefully that won't happen, but we shall see. Let's now take a look at our stats. We're level 5 with 25 HP, holding a berry with Surf, Earthquake, Double Team and Ice Beam, 17 in attack, 16 in defense, 14 in everything else. So let's now get this challenge underway. Apologies if I still sound a little bit sniffly. I ended up with the bloomin' flu of all things pretty much straight after I'd had, what, 3 or 4 weeks of recovery from the previous virus. And it came back with abundance. Different virus this time though, but still very annoying. But hopefully, this will be the last of the health woes, at least for winter. If I can get through the rest of winter, I will be happy. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a holiday at the start of January. I was hoping to be able to do content, but I think I just need that little bit of a rest after Christmas so that I can be fully recovered for the new year. Because I think pushing myself to do a few videos now, between now and the end of the year, is going to be absolutely fine. But I don't want to push myself to a point where I'm exhausted all the time, and I potentially get ill again if I catch something. So I'm going to be sensible, and I'm going to actually have a little bit of a 2-3 week intended break, as opposed to all of the unintended, kind of unavoidable breaks that have happened in the past. I'm very lucky to have recovered when I did from that particular one. It took about 3.5 weeks to get fully through the worst of it, but I am now feeling a lot better, thank goodness. Now we have, of course, Chikorita for the rival. That is standard for a water-type Pokemon. and we've got Ice Beam, so it's going to be a one-shot. Maybe Rival 2 will cause an issue, but I very much doubt it. I think we're going to be in for a fairly easy ride in this one, and please do bear with me as I get back into the swing of recording. This video is probably going to be a little bit disjointed, a little bit all over the place, because I've not done it in a while, and I've not really got full brain power at the moment. I'm not quite firing on all cylinders again yet, but hopefully over the next few days and weeks I'll get back to a fit and fighting form. Now, in terms of this challenge, we're not going to have a very difficult start. We'll get through Falkner fairly easily. We'll be able to do Sprout Tower. Bugsy should be trivial at best. Rival 2 could cause some issues. I'm worried about Whitney, and I think if we get past Whitney, we've got a very good chance of getting very, very far in this challenge. I reckon if we do get past Whitney, then the Elite's Force should be being seen. Barring maybe something a little bit tricky from Claire, which can happen from time to time, but we will absolutely have to see. But level 9 is, of course, the level cap for Falkner's Gym. That means we cannot gain any more experience points now, but all of these battles we are doing are still contributing to our stat experience. So that means, of course, there's very little point in doing any more training before this gym. We will go in to Falkner's Gym. He is our first gym leader together, but he does have a couple of gym trainers guarding him. Birdkeeper Abe was no issue there, one shot on his Spearow, and then I think we can just surf these Pidgey and they'll go down in one hit as well. Time isn't of the essence in these challenges, but it's still a good habit to stay into. And let's now take on Falkner, first gym leader together. Flying type specialist leads with Pidgey. Pidgey went down in 1. Pidgeotto's going to go down in 2. What a very nice start to this challenge. 3 hits gets us our first badge, up to 5 points on the board, and we now have our fresh level cap of 16. That does mean we get the call about the non-existent egg from Professor Elm. We'll take this opportunity to do a very quick heal. We will then have a little chat with the aide, and we'll get ourselves in to Sprout Tower. None of the sages so far has caused any issue at all for us, and I doubt that Sage or Elderly at the very top of the tower will be any different at all. So we'll engage him in battle and we'll see how we get on. He leads with Bellsprout that goes down in 1. Up next is another Bellsprout and it goes down in exactly the same way. And we will one-shot the Hoothoot as well, growing up to level 14 already. Goodness me, Medium Slow is a very good early game experience group. We get ourselves a lantern, and more importantly, we get ourselves the key escape rope. One of my favourite items in these challenges. It appears earlier than Dig does naturally, and of course it's infinitely reusable. Now on our way out of Violet City, we are going to pick up the Purze Berry. That could come in very, very useful later on. The Purze Berry is ostensibly going to give us a free turn of Thunder Wave, and now we have 2 of those berries available before the Pokemon League. We have this one here on route number 32, route 32, and then we do have another one available to us just south of Blackthorn as well. So hopefully we won't need both before we get to Lance, but we shall have to see. Now on our way down through Route 32 there, I did take on a few optional extra trainers, which is why we're already at level 16. I'm trying to prioritise speed stat experience at the moment. I appreciate that Geodude probably isn't a very good Pokemon to take on. We should probably take on this Onix actually. And that's because I'm a little bit worried about not outspeeding Whitney's Miltank, so I'm going to be focusing on some of the faster Pokemon when it comes to trainer battles, and maybe even some wild battles pre-Whitney, to hopefully give us the best chance of getting through and outspeeding the Miltank. Because I think if we outspeed the Miltank, we will be absolutely fine. We'll have no stomp shenanigans, and of course, she won't be able to hit us first, which means we'll take 1 turn fewer of damage. That is the plan. Whether it comes to fruition is a different matter though. As we know throughout all of our challenges, not just SuperMON, anything can happen. You've got to expect the unexpected at every single turn in these. Now, even though we should expect the unexpected, some things we can very easily predict in these challenges, such as the rocket section here in Slowpoke Well. being incredibly easy. That is another very nice 3 points on the board for our FERALIGATR, and it does unlock our second gym together. This is, of course, Bugsy's Bug-type gym, and once again, I don't think there's going to be any issue at all here. We'll get all of the stat experience we can. There's no sense in not doing all the trainers here, especially when they're easy battles. But I don't think we'll be in any danger of getting anywhere close to even yellow HP, let alone being knocked out by anybody in this gym. I really hope that this isn't overconfidence, but we can one-shot this Pryce, for instance. We've got coverage for that. And then this should give us a lot of nice balanced stat experience, actually, from Weedle, Kakuna and Beedrill here. I am very, very happy with how Beedrill fared in its recent challenge as well. I say recent, it was a few weeks ago for me, but recent for all of you. Let us now take on Bugsy. Bugsy is our second gym leader together today. Bug-type specialist leads with a Metapod. One shot on the Metapod, that means it's going to be a one shot on the Kakuna. Probably a two shot on this Scyther. We don't outspeed, which is a little bit annoying, but Fury Cutter does next to nothing at all. That gets us a Hive Badge and an extra set of points, getting us up to 9 points in total. Now, even though we could probably get away with a bag heal, we're going to go into the Pokémon Center. We will do a full Pokémon Center heal here. So we've got enough power points to see us all the way through to the end of Goldenrod City. Let us now take on the second rival battle, led with Ghastly, that went down. Let's swap to Ice Beam for the Bayleaf. Poison Powder misses. We've got this in the bag now. Grow up to level 17, choice of moves for the Zubats. We'll use Surf, and we have defeated the rival for a second time. Very, very easily. Up to 11 points we go now. Even better. That does mean we can start traversing our way through this forest, where we're going to get our next HM item. It's been a little while, I think, since I've fully spoken about all the HM items, so I'll take you through them, at least for the first part of this challenge. We get ourselves a Scythe here instead of Cut. That means we don't have to teach it to a Pokemon, and we can just talk straight to the tree. Let's move those repels up to a more sensible position now. We'll say hello to the green-haired man staring at the tree, who's still a bit grumpy with us. We don't need the tree shaker in this one. We'll grab the ether, we'll grab the second ether here in the corner, and we'll get ourselves out of the forest, making sure to get the honey jar. The honey jar can come in very useful for a little bit of static speed training if we need it. Now, we do still have the HM friends as guaranteed encounters, but we don't have any ability to catch them in this version of Pokemon Crystal. All catching has been disabled, so that means that we have to use the HM items, otherwise we're not getting through anywhere. Let us now defeat Picnicagina here, get some lovely stat experience, and we'll make our base in Goldenrod City after we've beaten up Specsavers. I forgot just how far his distance is with his vision, but we are now in Goldenrod. Let us take stock here and figure out what we want to do. I've decided to mix up the routing a little bit in this particular challenge. We're actually going to take on Spinnerhell now, and a lot of the reason for that is I want to take on Irwin. This might be the first time I've actively wanted to take on Irwin, but all of these Voltorb have such brilliant speed stat experience to give us, so I'm hoping that that, combined with the Carbos that I've just procured from Goldenrod Mart, will be enough to see us through Whitney. There is very little else we can do now. We'll take on Fire Breather Walt, just while we are in the neighbourhood, and now we will go and grab the bicycle. Not done that yet, so we will not say no to the bike. Goodness me. Bike helps me move. I can't move without the bike. The bike is the thing that actually lets me move fairly quickly in this game. And we will do a very quick Pokemon Center heal. And then I'll brace myself, because it will be time for Whitney. There's nothing more we can do for this battle. I have gone and grabbed the Quick Claw from the National Park, so let's now take her on. This is Whitney. She is our third gym leader together today. She is a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. We're going to set up a double team against this Clefairy. Double slap hitting 3 times. Isn't the best, but isn't the worst. Oh, Metronome Razorleaf, you meanie beanie there, Whitney. Let's continue surfing the Miltank. Oh, goodness me. We don't outspeed the Miltank, even with all the prep work we have done. Are we going to get caught in a loop here? Quick Claw activation. We scam the Whitney battle. Let us get the badge, and we are leaving here. She's probably going to send her hired goons after us, because that was a totally unfair gym battle. I am so glad that I went back to National Park and just grabbed the Quick Claw. In case you don't know, I don't look up any of the trainer's stats for these challenges. I like to do everything with as little knowledge as possible, which, considering my brain, isn't that hard, is it? But I just like the little bit of extra challenge that it gives us. Now, there are still some bits we need to do here in Goldenrod. We've done Whitney fairly early, because we get a lot of levels early on with our experienced group. So now we can actually finish off the first sweep of Goldenrod before making our way towards Ecruteak, because we've got to get through a couple of trainers here that I like taking on before we end up in the rocket sequence much later on. That's more of a thing for the time challenges, but it's still a good habit to stay into. And on SuperMON, I do like taking on these two trainers at the bottom as well. Lickitung is brilliant experience pre-Generation 5, and also Grimer and Muck are fairly good for the old special defense. Well, actually, no, you don't get special defense stat experience, do you? These two are a little bit pointless, but we'll take them on anyway so he doesn't feel left out. Let us now grab our rental Abra, though, and this will teleport us back to the Pokemon Center that we were last in. So if we do it now, we will save ourselves a whole 5 steps, but probably waste even more time than if we'd have just walked here. The rental Abra, however, does make this whole Floria sequence a little bit easier. We've already been up to see her. We do now need to get the squirt bottle from the eavesdropping so-and-so, and we'll make our way back up through Route 35 into the National Park, and we can think about taking on the Pseudo-Widow. I might actually try and engage it in battle this time. I want to see just how much damage we are doing. Mostly with our special attack, but it could be interesting to see our physical attack as well. We one-shot. Perfect. That is what I like to see. We are going to get the big hammer from here as well. That'll help us smash any rocks in the road, and we can continue up into Ecruteak. Psychic Greg is dangerous on SuperMON, so I'm a little bit annoyed that we got caught by him, but Earthquake is a one-shot, thank goodness. Let us, while we're here, beat up a Growlithe for no good reason, but I do want to grab this other ether as well. I love grabbing my ethers in this challenge. Now, because we're not against the clock, I have no issues at all going into Ecruteak Pokemon Center. When we are against the clock, I generally tend to avoid it as much as I can. And because we've only got a couple of levels left, I reckon our best place to get these levels before Rival 3 is going to be here in the Kimono Girls Dance Theatre. We get up to level 24 courtesy of this Flareon. Espeon shouldn't be too much of an issue with an Earthquake, I don't think. Umbreon's going to be the interesting one in these, I think, because Umbreon should tell us roughly how well or badly we are going to do with our physical attack. 2-shot on the Umbreon, not going to complain at that. And now we've just got Vaporeon and Jolteon left to go. They will both be very, very trivial because we do, of course, have Earthquake for the pair of them. So we don't need to worry about the Kimono Girls anymore in this particular challenge. Getting up to level 25 there, courtesy of the Kimono Girls, we'll get ourselves the Raft and the Surf HM from the man staring at the stage. And then it's going to be a very quick heal here in Ecruteak Pokemon Center. And we're going to go straight into the Burnt Tower for the third and middle rival battle. I always get amazed at just how quickly the rival battles go here in Pokemon Crystal. They are not exactly well spaced out throughout the course of our entire challenge. Let us take him on. He leads with Haunter. We'll use Earthquake, guarantee the one-shot there, because I'm not 100% sure on a Surf one-shotting. We can one-shot the Magnemite as well. Swap to Ice Beam for the Bayleaf. We have been poisoned this time, but we've got antidotes and berries. And we'll one-shot the Zubat as well. Nice stuff. Getting ourselves up to 17 points there in total. We will now release the beasts, and it will be time to think about what we want to do for Morty. Now, before taking Morty on, I have cycled all the way back to Goldenrod City here because I have a feeling that because we didn't outspeed Whitney's Miltank, we're not going to outspeed Morty's Gengar. So I'm going to actually go and grab a couple of Carbos here to try and get ourselves faster than the Gengar, because I think that will be the easiest way to get through. So we do just about be able to afford 2 Carbos there. We'll stick them in and we'll see if that does make any difference at all. to the Morty battle. It might end up being a little bit moot. We were at 63, I think, in our speed for our last battle. Let us now go into the gym and we'll see exactly how fast we are against Sage Ping here. 65. Is that enough to outspeed the Gengar? I've not a blooming clue. I hope it is. We will have to find out together. But we've got a couple more gym trainers until we take on Morty himself. Well, that's the gym trainers taken care of. Let us now engage Morty in battle. He is our 4th gym leader together today. He is, of course, a dual ghost and poison type specialist leader who leads with Ghastly. Ghastly's a one-shot. Haunter is also a one-shot. Here comes the Gengar. We do outspeed, thank goodness, and we can one-shot the final Haunter. We are through Morty on our first try. Fog badge in... Not in anything. This isn't a time challenge. Goodness me, brain, please do catch up. But that does get us up to 20 points in total, and we now have a level cap of 30. Now, as we're making our way towards Olivine City, I do want to say it is a little bit kind of counterintuitive, isn't it, that I play these challenges against the clock and earning points, depending on the challenge that we're doing, and I don't particularly look or bother to memorise stats, and that's just because that's how I enjoy playing. I think I would get less enjoyment from these challenges if I memorised every single range and every single stat of the key trainers that we come up against. I like having that gut instinct and that first attempt with our Pokemon. It's been the same ever since our first challenges together here. I love trying to challenge myself in a way where I don't go in with the full knowledge. I just try and do it all by instinct, and it's showing really over the course of the last few years. We have gotten so much better together, not just me, but everybody who's doing Crystal Challenge runs. I am always really excited to see all these little bits of progress that have been made throughout the last few years when it comes to this game. I think we have done a fantastic job at blowing Pokemon Crystal completely wide open. And there are things that we thought of throughout the course of these 3 years that if there weren't so many people playing Pokemon Crystal practically religiously at this point, I don't think we'd be anywhere close to the situation we are, not only with things like the SuperMON ROM hack, but just in general when it comes to playing Pokemon Crystal. Every time I feel like I'm getting a little bit bored of this game, something happens that gives me that little bit of invigoration again and just gets me so inspired to play once more. And I am very excited to see what 2026 will bring us when it comes to Pokemon Crystal, because I've got an absolute certain feeling that it's going to be very, very good stuff for the next year. Now, we have made our way up to the very top of the lighthouse here, where we'll have a little chat with Jasmine. We don't need to pick up that rare... Yes, we do need to pick up the rare candy. Goodness me, I'm getting all kinds of discombobulated with the different challenges we do. In a Nuzlocke, we wouldn't need to pick that up, but in a Nuzlocke, that rare candy would not spawn. We are going to take on Birdkeeper Dennis here, because I do want a little bit more of the old speed stat experience. We're going to pick up TM34, and we're also going to pick up this Hyper Potion lingering in the corner. I don't think we need to take on the extra trainer in this particular challenge. And now, if we want to get into good old Chuck's gym, we are going to need to get the phone number for this burly man. So we will hopefully be able to get through Chuck's gym fairly easily now. Although I'm a little bit worried actually about Chuck's gym. Could be a tricky old gym to get through. We'll have to see what happens when we get over there. The tag team will tell us everything we need to know, really. If we struggle at the tag team, we will have to do some emergency rerouting and probably end up doing the Lake of Rage and probably take on Pryce, then Chuck, then Jasmine. But we shall see what happens when we engage these two in battle. Hitmon leads first, we'll use Earthquake. And we one-shot. Nice. Let's move on to Hitmonchan. See how well we do against this one. We'll use Earthquake again, and Thunder Punch does next to nothing, as you'd expect, with it being a special attack in Generation 2. I'm feeling confident-ish that we can get through Chuck now without any of our level cap shenanigans like we had in the previous challenge. But we could be looking at the end of the challenge if overconfidence is the order of the day. Now, I have been doing a little bit of deliberating as to which berry to give our FERALIGATR. I've decided on Mince Berry. It could be a little bit of bias because I like having 2 bitter berries for the league. But I'm hoping that he will go more for Hypnosis over Dynamic Punch. We will have to see what happens, though, as we engage Chuck in battle. He is our 5th gym leader together today. He is, of course, a fighting type specialist who leads with Primate. That Leah isn't great. He's gone for Mind Reader. Hypnosis has missed. We're through. That's fine. Gen 2 AI saving the day in the Gen 2 battle engine. More specifically, saving the day there. 23 points now on the board. I can breathe a huge sigh of relief. We get the air balloon. That means I've got some bits and bobs that I need to pick up. And then we'll go towards the lake, I reckon. That's all the bits and bobs out of the way for now. We can now take on the red Gyarados. As soon as we get past a Magikarp Gardevoir there, though, let us engage it in battle. Ice Beam's probably going to be our best move. Possibly even a 4-shot, though, against this Gyarados. A Thrash crit would have KO'd us there, but we did get through. We'll have a little chat with Lance. He will make his way in to Mahogany Town, and unfortunately, we have no choice but to follow him all the way there. So let's use our rental Abra to get back to Mahogany, where we have the dreaded Rocket Mahogany Underground. Well, that's 5 minutes of my life I'm never getting back, but we did get through the Mahogany Underground. We get ourselves a bath plug and a point from Lance the Liar, and that does unlock our next gym together. So we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go straight into the Mahogany Gym, where it is, of course, an Ice-type gym. Kind of apt for the time of year, but we've not had very cold weather here in the United Kingdom, at least, for the start of this winter. If you don't like the cold weather, that's probably good, but I know people like Kanbei definitely are going to be missing the cold weather at this time of year. I know, I'm one of the opposites, though. I love the warmer weather. I cannot wait for summer again, so I'm going to try and get through this very frigid, chilly gym in a very quick time. This is Pryce, the Ice-type specialist, leads with Seal. We're going to use Earthquake on the Seal. Speed drop doesn't really mean anything in this particular battle. It's going to be a 2-shot on the Dugong, and then hopefully a 1-shot on the Piloswine with a Surf to get us our next badge. That is the Glacier badge, up to 27 points now. Level cap is up to 35. Because we've got quite a big jump in level cap, I am now going to do a little bit of training before we take on Jasmine. Well, it's been a bit of a slog to get up to level 34, but I reckon our next couple of battles should get us to the next level cap in time for Jasmine. There's just a couple of trainers we can take on here in the Lighthouse who should get us all the way up to 35. There we go. Sailor Huey gave us the experience points this time, meaning we don't have to take on that very, very annoying bird keeper. And we do need to ascend the lighthouse anyway so that we can have a chat with Jasmine. We've kept her waiting long enough. We'll give her the secret potion. She will return to the gym having pocketed that secret potion as opposed to giving it to Amphi. And we will follow her into battle. This is Jasmine. She is our 7th gym leader together today, a Steel-type specialist who leads with Magnemite. We'll use Surf against the Magnemite. It's going to be a 1-shot. Magnemite doesn't have the best defenses in the world. What about the Steelix? What do we think? It's a 1-shot. Was that ever in doubt, really? Mineral badge acquired, 30 points on the board, fresh level cap of 40, and a call from Elm that I really don't like getting. We're going to ignore him for now. We're going to get our way through the ice path. I'm going to get myself all prepped, ready for that horrible radio tower section. So I've been through the ice path, I picked up all the stuff that we needed there, and we're also about halfway through the rocket section. And it's at this point we get ambushed, of course, by the 4th and penultimate rival battle. This time he is going to lead with Golbat. We use Ice Beam against the Golbat, we'll guarantee the 1-shot as we grow up to our next level cap. We'll use Surf against the Magnemite, it's going to be a 1-hit. Here comes the Meganium, and Ice Beam is more than powerful to knock it out in one. We'll swap back to Surf for the Haunter, and then for the Sneasel, probably Earthquake is what I was trying to spit out there. Bit of an inside hiccup there, but we did get through Rival 4 very, very easily. Now there's even more rockets for me to take care of here. I'll skip to the end for you. So we now find ourselves at the top of the radio tower where we are going to engage the final rocket of the challenge in battle. This will be a very, very easy battle. It will be 3 surfs to get through the radio tower once and for all with FERALIGATR, and that does mean we get an extra little bonus point from the director of the radio tower, getting ourselves up there to 33 points in total. No need for the pink bow from Marie this time. We can go straight down and grab ourselves the radio card, and then it will be time to enter into Blackthorn, where we are going to have yet another gym in front of us. And this gym could be dangerous. We'll have to see how the gym trainers go in order to figure out how easy or hard this gym will be. So we'll start off here with Cool Trader Paul. He'll be very, very easy. He has 3 Dratini. We do, of course, have Ice Beam. It's going to be super effective against all of them. It's going to be the Cool Trainer with the level 37 Dragonair, I beg your pardon. That will be the one that tells us exactly how well or badly we're going to do. This is the Cool Trainer in question. This is Cool Trainer Mike with his Dragonair. If we one-shot this Dragonair, I'll feel a little bit more confident than I otherwise would have done. We did one-shot. Let us now take on Lola. She's got a Dratini and a Dragonair, 2 very easy Pokemon for us to take care of, especially seeing as this Dragonair is slightly lower leveled. And with that, it's Claire time. So Claire is our 8th gym leader of this challenge. She is a Dragon-type specialist, leads with her own Dragonair. And we do one-shot the first. It could be a range, it might not be. But I am feeling fairly confident about this battle now. We'll get through all 3 of the Dragonair, and then I think we'll swap to Earthquake for this Kingdra. Smokescreen's hit, which is a little bit annoying, but it shouldn't mean too much in the grand scheme of things. 1 more attack hitting will secure the victory, and we can now rush into the Dragon's Den to get our next badge, of course. Going into the Dragon's Den, we're going to be meeting a bit of an old foe of ours. It is Darren, of course. We do not like Darren here on this channel. Darren is a pesky, pesky so-and-so. We defeated him though, so we're going to cycle in front of him. We're going to do the victory dance all around him. Anyway, that's enough of that for now. I won't ever forgive Darren, by the way. He is on the hit list at the very top for at least the next year or so, unless somebody screws us over harder. Let us now answer 11212 here. We will get ourselves our final Jotonian badge, and we can start heading leaguewards. So Claire does enter into the Dragon's Den. Surprised as always that we get the answer right, and you know, it's been a little while since I've recorded one of these challenges, so it is a little bit surprising that I remember 11212. But that does now mean we have our final Jotonian badge, and we can think about the Pokemon League. So I've taken on a couple of trainers here on the way up towards Victory Road. We are going to take on Joyce. I don't think she's going to be any issue, but I'm interested to see how much we can do against her Blastoise. Just about half, not too bad a 2-shot, even with a curse. That makes me feel good about some of the bulkier Pokemon coming up. It's nice on SuperMON being able to take on certain trainers who will give you a good idea of how well or badly you're going to do. We'll get up to the level cap courtesy here of Beth. We'll pick up this Max Elixir as well en route, and there's no sense in battling that particular cool trainer in this challenge. We will show our 8 badges, and now we are in Victory Road. Just the Super Repels needed here in the Victory Road. Did we even use one? Or did I just look at it and decide I didn't want to use one? There we go, that's much better. Goodness me, thank goodness we're not against the clock. We will grab the HP up here so that we've got a HP up for Karen, and we will engage the rival in one final battle. This time he is going to lead with Sneasel. I reckon Earthquake's our best move against the Sneasel. Didn't one-shot, but Screech has failed. And we'll move on to Magneton. Again, Earthquake's our best move there. Ice Beam's going to be the best move against this Meganium. Poison Powder's hit again, which is more just a frustration rather than anything too devastating. We'll one-shot his final couple of Pokemon. Maybe not a one-shot on the Kadabra. Earthquake is a one-shot. Goodness me, I'm underestimating our FERALIGATR here. That does mean we are through the final rival battle, and we will use a full heal here to make sure that we don't get any flashing into the league. We'll do our heal. We will buy a bunch of full restores. Don't need to spend our money on anything else now, so we'll buy as many as we can. And we'll have a look at our stats going into the league. We're level 42 with 149 HP. Holding them at ice with Surf, Earthquake, Double Team and Ice Beam. 125 in attack, 119 in defense, 103 in special attack, 107 in special defense, and 101 in speed. And as always, before going into the league, we will make some predictions. So starting with Will, I think Will be fairly easy. We will hold on to a Bitterberry just in case. Koga, we've got a Poison Cure Berry for. I don't think he's going to prove to be too problematic. Bruno could throw a couple of spanners in the works. He's always a little bit unpredictable when you don't have a strong move against him. I actually find him fairly tough in SuperMON, you know. Karen, who knows? Karen will go either way. It will be what it will be. And then I think if we get through Karen, we should be absolutely fine in Lance. But the first league member is, of course, Will. Will is a psychic type specialist, of course, and he's going to lead with Xatu. Let us use Ice Beam against this first Xatu. We knock it out in one, and he sends out his Executor second. Leech Seed would be devastating here. I've got to be honest, I'm not that happy about a Reflect being up, but we will make the most of it. Jinx has gone for Double Slap for no good reason. His AI really is not great. Surf's probably the best move here, at least for the first turn or two. Psychic doesn't hit too hard. We'll swap to Earthquake now, and it should only be one further shot. That brings us on to his final Xatu. We'll use an Ice Beam. He's gone for Psychic. We are in the red, but he is healing looping. Close, but no banana for Will there. We get through, getting up to 42 points. Let us swap to the PlayStation Network Cure Berry now. We will also use a full restore. And you know what, seeing as we've got a few, we'll use an Elixir. And we will take on Koga. He is our second league member together. He is a poison type specialist who leads with Ariados. I don't think we've got anything to one-shot this Ariados. He's going to go for Giga Drain though, and that doesn't do too much. Up second is Venomoth. Ice Beam Fish for a freeze. Psychic hits, again, not doing too much damage. Neither of those moves is a stab move. We'll surf on this fortress, hope it doesn't become a bomb, which it doesn't. Unnecessary crit there. Earthquake for the muck, and hope for the best, I reckon. Acid Armor's fine. That just means it's a guaranteed two-shot. Now, it's not going to be a one-shot on this Crobat, but we will hope for the best here. 2 shots knocks it out, so we do get through Koga, getting ourselves up there to 46 points with a new level cap of 46. And because we've got that level cap and we've got 7 rare candies, we will use 3 of them here. We'll use yet another full restore as well if I can find it hiding in the bag somewhere. Oh, we've got a calcium. Can't use it though, unfortunately. There's our full restore. Do we need to ether? Probably not. But thinking about it, we're probably not going to get any use at all from that PSN Cure Berry. Let us go for the Mystic Water instead. And now we will take Bruno on. He is our third league member together today. He's a fighting type specialist, leads with Hitmontop. We'll use a Surf. It's dug a hole, and you know what? We'll use a double team here. In fact, we'll use a couple of double teams. We want to try and make sure that Cross Chop has the lowest possible chance of hitting us. Thunder Punch has missed. That's brilliant there. On to the Hitmonlee we go. Earthquake's probably going to be our best move there. A nice critical hit knocks it out. Earthquake the Machamp. Cross Chop has hit once. We can probably survive another. It has missed. He's healing looping. Yes, he is healing looping. That is fine because we can one-shot the Onyx now. Nothing to worry about at all with Bruno. If the RNG had been different, that could have been a loss, but we got a little bit lucky there in the end. Getting ourselves up to 50 points, we are now at the halfway mark. We'll use another rare candy there, we'll use another full restore. We need to use our HP up that we picked up, and I think the Bitterberry is going to be the order of the day as well. Or do we want to use the Pryce Cure Berry? Will the Vileplume go for Stun Spore? And if it does, I think Stun Spore's more devastating than being confused against an Umbreon that won't really hit us too hard. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Pryce Cure Berry. Not sure if that's the right move, but that's the move I'm choosing. And after a quick Elixir as well, we'll take Karen on. She is our 4th league member together today. She is a Dark-type specialist, leads with Umbreon. Now, we're not going to be able to even two-shot this thing, I don't think. We're trying to kind of fish for a freeze here. Not happening, and we're already down to just 94 HP. Let's move on to the Vileplume. She goes for Stun Spore, so the Paralyzed Cure Berry, I beg your pardon, was the right move there. We aren't Paralyzed though for the Gengar, so we can knock it out in one. We've got Ice Beam for the Murkrow, and then we should hopefully be able to one-shot with Earthquake on the Houndoom. I am so proud of myself for reading Karen's AI perfectly there. We get through, we have nothing to worry about at all. We get ourselves 3 rare candies to get ourselves up to Lance's level cap. We'll use a full restore, and now I've got to figure out whether the Nevmelt Ice or the Purr's Cure Berry is going to be the better play for Lance. I'm leaning more towards the Nevmelt Ice, because that will give us the best chance of knocking out both of the Dragonites. Might be a misplay, but we shall see. I've stopped before last because I'm still umming and ahhing. I'm nervous about this one, probably overthinking it like normal. We're just going to go for it. It will be what it will be. This is Lance the Liar with the Flyers, final trainer of the Elite Four and Champion section, leads with Gyarados. We'll use Ice Beam against the Gyarados, and we've frozen it. Very nice start there. No damage from this Gyarados. Let's move on to Dragonite number 1. It's a one-shot. I can relax now. Not going to get paralysed. Nevmelt Ice has done its job there. We'll use Ice Beam on all 3 of the Dragonites, and then we'll move on to the Charizard and the Aerodactyl. And providing we outspeed this Aerodactyl, which we don't, but he's gone for Hyper Beam, we get the win. Very, very good stuff there from our FERALIGATR. I overthought that battle an awful lot more than I otherwise should have done. There is a universe where we could have lost if he'd have gone for Ancient Power, got an Omni Boost, and then flinched us every turn. But that was, of course, incredibly unlikely. Now, that does mean that we have made it into the Hall of Fame on our FERALIGATR SuperMON challenge. This is only half the story, though. There's still potentially another 8 gym badges plus a red fight left to come. So don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And now we're rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where the first thing we'll do is get on with a little bit of storyline that Kanto has to offer. It's a lot shorter than the Jotonian storyline. In fact, there's only one bit of storyline throughout the entire thing, all linked to the power plant. But it needs to be done, and it gives us an opportunity to have a little think about what order we want to face the Cantonian gym leaders in, because that will be quite important. I reckon we need to leave maybe Misty, Surge and Erica until fairly late on, until we're at level 58, but the rest should be fair game. At the moment, I'm thinking we do the storyline, we go to Pewter and take on Brock while we're there, because we'll have super effective moves to all of his Pokemon. Then we can go down to the Seafoam Islands to take on Blaine, and we can take on Janine while we're doing that routing as well, to save a little bit of time, a little bit of energy and a little bit of effort, and complete the south part of Kanto. Janine, of course, being our lowest leveled gym leader in all of Kanto. Now, the first thing we need to do is pop ourselves into the power plants here, where the manager is going to be stressing because the machine parts has somehow been stolen from under his nose with all of these employees in here. That's one of the most heavily populated buildings in all of this game, and yet somehow they've managed to lose the machine part. They must all have been sleeping or something. Maybe it was 3 o'clock nap time or something. We will go in to Cerulean, though. We call out the lady in Goldenrod City all the time for eavesdropping, but we were eavesdropping ourselves there. But that does mean we can restore the power to Kanto. Not quite sure how things like the Pokemon sensors and the gyms work when the power isn't on, but we shall not question it. Instead, we will go straight back into the power plant, and we will return the machine part. That gives us Zap Cannon, one of my favourite moves, but we cannot use it in this challenge at all. And now we will head back over to Lavender Town, where we will go and have a little chat with the director of the radio tower here. We will get ourselves an X-Men card, and that does mean we can go to Vermilion City and we can take on this Snorlax. And by taking on this Snorlax, I mean we'll play the Poké Flute, we'll wake it up, and then we will run away. I don't want to be risking anything against this Snorlax here. We'll get ourselves out of Diglett's tunnel, and now it is time for 3Drill, everyone's favourite friend of the channel here in Viridian Hedge Maze. He's got his 3B drill, and they are going to very kindly lend us their experience points to get us up to level 51. We are now an eighth of the way there to our fresh level cap, and we can go straight into Pewter Gym as well, where we'll have a very, very easy gym battle on our hands. We've got just one gym trainer guarding Brock there. Camper Jerry standing in for Camper Liam from the Generation 1 games, and we will take on Brock. He is our first Cantonian gym leader. He is a rock-type specialist who leads with Graveler that swapped in for Kabutops. On the stars next, we'll use Surf again. It is a range. I actually meant to go for Earthquake there, which was probably a range as well, but I misclicked. We'll Surf on the Rhyhorn as well. We can Surf the Onix, and then finally the Graveler comes back out to play as we grow up to level 52. Another Surf takes care of it, and that is our first Cantonian gym badge. Boulder badge acquired up to 67 points. I don't think there was ever any universe at all there where we would be losing that particular gym battle, and I think it's going to be the same for our next gym battle, but there is a little bit of journeying to go before we get to the gym. We'll take a pit stop here in the Viridian, I was going to call it Cerulean City, but complete wrong end of the blooming country. The Viridian City Pokemon Center there, and we will now have a little chat with Blue, who's definitely going to Viridian and not Cerulean City, or at least I hope so, otherwise we'll be locked out of completing this challenge. We'll grab the rare candy, and then it's just a very quick surf past one singular swimmer, clearly lost in the sea, and we'll take on Blaine. Blaine is our second Cantonian gym leader. He is a fire-type specialist, leads with Magcargo. One shot on the Magcargo, here comes the Bumhead Fireduck, and there goes the Bumhead Fireduck, and finally we have a Rapidash. Again, it's going to be a one-shot, no levelling up against Blaine, but we do get the Volcano badge, getting ourselves up to level 70 in the process. Oh, I nearly had perfect repel there for getting to Fuchsia, but we didn't get an encounter, so we don't need to worry too much. And instead, we will just go straight into facing Janine. She's our third Cantonian gym leader. She is a poison-type specialist who leads with Crobat. Crobat's a one-shot as we grow up to 53. Ariadosa's next. Again, very easy. There's nothing here that won't get one shot. She is not particularly high level. She is still learning, of course. Brand new gym leader. We've got to cut her some slack there. And we obtain the soul badge. And we can move on. And goodness me, I think the ground just shook then. Oh, I'm going to have to take a little pause in recording and recompose myself. That was a little bit scary. Turns out there was a little tremor here in my little part of the United Kingdom. Thank goodness it wasn't any stronger than it was. We do occasionally get tremors here in the United Kingdom, nowhere near the severity of earthquakes in much more seismically active areas of the world. And it's very, very rare you actually feel them. I think the last time I felt one was in possibly February 2008. Could be completely wrong with the times there, but I think there was one in 2008 that did shake the ground across most of the United Kingdom, or at least across most of England. We will take on Sabrina now. I am still a little bit thrown from that happening. Hopefully it won't affect things too much here. As long as we connect with Surf, we'll be absolutely fine. We grow up to level 54 there. We obtain the Marsh badge, and we can get out of here with 76 points to our name now. Now, I've been thinking about who to take on next, and I reckon Erica is going to be our safest bet. Erica is a grass-type specialist, but we do have Ice Beam, so we are at least going to be able to get a super effective move landing on her Pokemon, and most of her Pokemon are fairly weak in the old Special Defense department, and I'm less worried about the grass types than I am about Misty's Lapras's Perish Song. Perish Song is a guaranteed loss, whereas in this gym, we should be able to one-shot most things like we did with all of her gym trainers. So we'll now take Erica on. She is our next Cantonian gym leader. leads with Tangler. Ice Beam's going to one-shot Tangler, no doubt about that, as we grow up to level 55. Quad Weak Jumpluff is next, another one-shot there. Here comes Victory Bell, it'll go away in 1. Now the one Pokemon that might stand a chance is Blossom, but it goes down in 1 as well. Absolutely fantastic. Rainbow Badge acquired, up to 79 points on the board, and we're getting closer and closer to our level cap. Now, even though the level cap is 58, we only need to grind up until level 56. We get 1 rare candy from the chairman of the Pokemon fan club. We get a 2nd rare candy from Cinnabar Island. So as soon as we get up to level 56, we shall be able to then get ourselves up to the next level cap, much like what we are about to do. I'm going to use one of our max elixirs as well, because we ran out of Ice Beam PP, and there we go, 2 rare candies gets us up to 58. And there's nothing we can do now to adjust our stats between here and hopefully defeating Blue. That is the hope at level 58. Whether it will happen is a different story. I don't think we'll be in too much danger against Blue. We'll hold on to the leftovers probably for that battle. So hopefully we'll have a fairly good time. We're in a very lucky situation where the only Pokemon that's going to be super effective against us on his team is his Executor, and his Executor isn't particularly strong when it comes to attacking water types. So we do have a bit of a leg up compared to some of the other types that we run here in the challenge. If you're quad weak to some of Blue's types, then that is definitely the ending points you'd expect. But I think for this Pokemon we'll be absolutely fine. Now, because we are at the level cap, there's no sense in trying to reorder any of our gyms anymore. We might as well take them on as we get to them. So that means we're going to head into Cerulean City, and we're going to take on Misty next. So if I'm not mistaken, Misty is our 14th gym leader together today. She is a water-type specialist who leads with Golduck. We will use an Earthquake against the Golduck. Spadef Drop isn't great there, but we might be able to use that to our advantage, because maybe she'll focus on the water-type moves. It's going to be a 2-shot here on this Lapras. Blizzard has frozen us. Goodness me, freeze into Perish Song. This is not the ending we wanted for FERALIGATR. That was nonsense, Misty. That was absolutely ridiculous. 79 points is what FERALIGATR is ending up with. I was so confident we were getting past Blue and we'd see Red. I wasn't confident about Red. I was not expecting the freeze from Blizzard. That was, what is it, a 70% accurate move? It should be on the list somewhere. Or does FERALIGATR not? Yes, it's a 70% accurate move, and it's 10% chance to freeze, so that was a 7% chance of that happening. Into Perish Song as well. Just shows, even some of the Pokemon with best potential, they can have an unlucky battle and get knocked out. And that score of 79 points does put FERALIGATR in 10th place on our SuperMON leaderboard. I've placed it higher than Rhydon because we definitely had a much smoother ride and relied on less luck than Rhydon. But still, kind of disappointing for FERALIGATR. It's one for a reader on stream though at some point. I'm positive that we can get FERALIGATR across the line. It's just going to require a little bit of less bad luck. It's not even requiring good luck. It's requiring less bad luck than we got in this one. But I really hope you've enjoyed this challenge. If you have, please do make sure to leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to see more challenges just like this, click the subscribe button. And until next time, when we're going back to our classic timed format for a little bit, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.